Hello everyone, and welcome to Reading with Mrs. Adams. I'm Mrs. Adams, and today we're going to visit the solar system. I have stories and poems and a little song all about our planets, the sun, the moon, and the stars. We're going to start with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I'm sure most of you already know it, but I'd like to teach you how to do American Sign Language with it. So we're going to start with putting our thumb and our pointer fingers together, and we're just going to tap them a couple of times, and that's twinkle twinkle. And you hold your thumb and your pointer finger like this and to show little. So twinkle twinkle little, and star, you put your two pointer fingers together and you just shoot them up one at a time like that. So it's twinkle twinkle little star. Put your fingers together, but the backs of your hands together like this, and then point to yourself and come out. So you're going to rotate your hands out like that. So it's twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I, this is the letter I in sign language, point to yourself, how I, and wonder is thinking in your head. So we're going to do the letter W for wonder, and we're going to spin our fingers around, our hands around our head, because that's where we do our thinking. So it's twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what. You're just going to brush your palm with your pointer finger like that. How I wonder what you. And then this is the letter R in sign language. You cross your fingers like this, and it comes from your chin, R, like that. So it's twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up, so just point up, above, and this is the earth spinning on its axis. So you're going to hold it with your tall man and your thumb and your fist like this, and you just rotate your fist up and down like that. So it's like the earth spinning on its axis, and so that's the world. And then we're going to do so high. So it's twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high. Like, or the same as, like a diamond, this is my diamond ring, diamond in the sky. So you're just going to brush your hand and your arm above your head like that. That's sky. And then you do it again. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So now let's sing it, and we can sign it at the same time. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. That was great. Good job, everybody. The first book I'm reading today, boys and girls, is called There's No Place Like Space, and it features Dr. Seuss's characters from The Cat in the Hat. And it's a story all about our solar system, and it's written by Tish Rabe, and it's illustrated by Aristides Ruiz. I hope you enjoy There's No Place Like Space. There's no place like space. The Cat in the Hat's Learning Library. All about our solar system, revised edition. By Tish Rabe, illustrated by Aristides Ruiz. There's no place like space. To John, with love, T.R. There's No Place Like Space by Tish Rabe, illustrated by Aristides Ruiz. The Cat in the Hat's Learning Library, Random House, New York. I'm the Cat in the Hat, and we're off to have fun. We'll visit the planets, the stars, and the sun. There is no place like space. I will prove it to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Jump in, here we go. We will fly up so high, we can dance on the moon and play games in the sky. We will swing past the stars, and in case you have missed 'em, you'll soon see the planets in our solar system. There are 8 of these planets that circle the sun, and soon you'll be able to name every one. Mercury's close to the sun's bright light. It's hot in the daytime, but freezing at night. On Venus, the weather is always the same, hot, dry, and windy, with no chance of rain. Today's weather on Venus, really, really hot. Nearly 900 degrees Fahrenheit, windy and dry. Can you guess the next planet? Well, here is a clue. It is my home and home to thing 1 and thing 2. You have been living on it each day since your birth. It is 3rd from the sun. It is our planet, Earth. It spins all the time, round and round like a top. It turns once every day, and it never will stop. Home, sweet home. This question had thing 1 and thing 2 in a tizzy. If the Earth's always spinning, why don't we feel dizzy? We don't feel the Earth as it spins on its way, 'cause we're spinning right with it, right now, every day. Next, here is Mars. It's the color of rust. We sneeze here because it is covered with dust. Travel to Jupiter, and you will find it is bigger than all other planets combined. Saturn has rings. It's so light, who would think? It could float in an ocean and not even sink. A planet can have satellites that surround it. Uranus has lots of these objects around it. There are colors in space. I will show some to you. Neptune, planet 8, is a beautiful blue. We have seen all the planets. Now here is a trick to remember their names and remember them quick. Say Mallory, Valerie, Emily, Mickles just saved up 999 nickels. Or Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. The first letter of each of these words is the same as the first letter in each of the planets you name. Now here is a game you can play in the skies. Connect all the stars you can see with your eyes. It's star dot to dot. Use your imagination and you'll see big pictures we call constellations. A dog, the great bear, and Leo the lion, Taurus the bull, and a hunter, Orion. Great dog, great bear, Orion, the bull, and the lion. A star in the sky may look small like a dot, but it's really a big glowing ball, and it's hot. And there's one star by far that's our favorite one. We can't live without it. The star called the sun. From the Earth it looks big. There is one reason why. It's the closest to Earth of the stars in the sky. But be careful and never look right at the sun. Your eyes would get hurt, and that would not be fun. How big is the sun? We just heard right this minute 1,000,000 of our Earths could all fit right in it. Oh, look at the time. We must go very soon, but first we must take a quick look at the moon. The moon does not shine in the sky in the night, but like a big mirror reflects the sun's light. Astronauts flew to the moon to explore a place no one had ever been to before. They walked on the moon and then drove all over in a special moon car called a lunar rover. An astronaut studies what's up in the sky. They too wants to be one. In fact, so do I. The universe is a mysterious place. We are only just learning what happens in space. So I brought you a present to look in the sky. Just put this telescope up to your eye. Oh dear, I must go, fly back up to the stars and take things 1 and 2 out to dinner on Mars. But there's lots to discover, and it might be you who looks up in the sky and finds something that's new. And that is the end of There's No Place Like Space, The Cat in the Hat's Learning Library, all about our solar system, by Tish Rabe, illustrated by Aristides Ruiz. The first poem I'm going to read is called Rocket Ride. And while I read it, you can imagine you're riding in a rocket ship to outer space. Rocket Ride. Someday you'll ride a rocket from your house to the stars. You'll make a stop at Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. You'll take a ride round Saturn's rings and shop upon the moon. You'll have to hurry up now to make it home by noon. Our second book today, boys and girls, is called The Planets by Gail Gibbons. This is informational text, all factual information, and I know you're going to find this very interesting and very educational as well. The Planets by Gail Gibbons. The Planets by Gail Gibbons, 4th edition. The Planets by Gail Gibbons, Holiday House, New York, 4th edition. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. This is our solar system. For Charlie Pratt. On a clear night, when stars shine brightly, you might see what looks like another star, but each night it changes position in the star patterns. It is a planet. The word planet comes from the Greek word meaning wanderer. All the planets except Earth are named after Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. Planet. A planet is different from a star. People can see a planet because the sun shines on it. A star shines because it is made up of burning gases that give off light and heat. Our sun is a star. Nearly every star is much bigger than the biggest planet. Sun, planet, star. In very early times, people knew of 6 planets. They were Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Later, 3 more were discovered. They were called Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Today, there are 8 planets in our solar system. In 2006, Pluto was designated as a dwarf planet. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Planet Earth is where we live. It is one of the planets that circle the sun. Together they make up the main part of the solar system. The word solar means connected to the sun. The planets circle around the sun in paths called orbits. The time it takes for a planet to travel around the sun is its year. Each planet's year is different. The solar system includes the sun and everything circling around it. There's the sun, and then Mercury, Venus, Earth, our planet, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the dwarf planet Pluto. So this is the sun, and these are each of the planets. Here's our Earth that orbit or follow a path around the sun. These white lines are not in space. They're just here in the illustration to show the path or the orbit of each of the planets. And as the planets get farther away from the sun, you can see that the path that they follow is much larger. So for example, our Earth is the third planet from the sun, so it has a shorter orbit than Saturn or any of the other planets that are farther away from the sun. While a planet is orbiting around the sun, it is moving another way too. It spins or rotates. The time it takes for a planet to rotate is its day. Each planet's day is different. While a planet is rotating, part of it faces the sun. It is daytime there. On the other side, it is nighttime. So if this is an example of a planet, this part that the sun is facing is the daytime, and it spins or rotates, and that the time it takes for it to spin around one time is the length of a day for that planet. So this is the daytime side and the nighttime side, and it rotates. And not all planets rotate in the same direction. People can look up on a clear night and might see Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. A planet looks like a steady point of light. A star twinkles. A telescope is needed to see Uranus, Neptune, and the dwarf planet Pluto, because they are very far away from the planet Earth. This is a telescope. Mercury. Mercury is the planet closest to the sun. It is about 36 million miles, or 58 million kilometers, away from the sun. During the day, it is extremely hot. During the night, it is bitter cold because Mercury doesn't have any atmosphere to keep its heat from escaping. So an atmosphere is a layer of air that's around a planet. And this is the planet Mercury, which has no atmosphere. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. It is made up of rock and metal. 1 year on Mercury is only 88 Earth days long. That's how long it takes for Mercury to orbit the sun. Mercury rotates very slowly, so its days are very long. A day on Mercury is 59 Earth days. And this says Mercury, and that's what Mercury looks like. Venus. Venus is the second planet from the sun. It is usually the brightest object in our sky, other than our sun and moon. At sunrise and sunset, it looks like a big bright star. It is bright because Venus has a cloud cover that reflects the sunlight. These clouds are made up of gases. So at nighttime, it's usually the first light you can see in the sky, and it's Venus. Venus is about 67 million miles, or 108 million kilometers away from the sun. It is hot there. Venus is almost the same size as planet Earth. 1 year on Venus is about 225 Earth days. A day on Venus is about 243 Earth days long, because Venus rotates very slowly. On Venus, a day is longer than a year, and a year is shorter than a day. There's Mercury and Venus. Earth. Earth is the third planet from the sun. It is the only planet known to have just the right environment for plants, animals, and people to live in. Earth is about 93 million miles, or 150 million kilometers, from the Sun. Planet Earth has just enough gravity to hold its atmosphere around it. Earth has one moon. Earth orbits the Sun in about 365 days to make an Earth year. It rotates every 24 hours to make an Earth day. So here's Mercury, there's Venus, here's Earth. A moon orbits a planet. It has no light of its own. It reflects sunlight. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, about 142 million miles, or 228 million kilometers away. People wonder if there was ever life on Mars. Although the surface of Mars is dry now, it once had rivers and perhaps even an ocean. In 2012, the Mars Science Laboratory's rover, Curiosity, landed on Mars to examine the planet's surface and climate. Scientists may still find evidence of life forms. So here's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and this is the Viking lander. Astronauts believe that Mars looks red because iron on its surface has been rusted by the planet's thin atmosphere. It is very cold and is a little more than half the size of planet Earth. Mars has 2 small moons. 1 year on Mars is about 2 Earth years. A day on Mars is about as long as a day on Earth. Jupiter. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun. It is about 484 million miles, or 778 million kilometers away. It is huge. It is bigger than all the other planets put together and has very thin rings around it. Jupiter is mostly made up of gases. Some of the gases form a giant red circle called the Great Red Spot. At least 62 moons orbit around planet Jupiter. One moon, Ganymede, is the biggest moon in the solar system. It is bigger than the planet Mercury. Another moon, called Io, has many active volcanoes. One Jupiter year is almost 12 Earth years. It has short days, just under 10 Earth hours long. So there's Jupiter, and these are the 2 moons that were named, Ganymede and Io. Saturn. Saturn is the 6th farthest planet from the Sun and about 886 million miles, or 1.4 billion kilometers away. It is the 2nd largest planet. Saturn's thousands of rings make it look different from the other planets. The rings are made up of ice and rock. Some pieces are as big as houses. On Saturn, it is extremely cold. Saturn has at least 60 moons. Titan, its largest moon, is the only moon in the solar system with a dense atmosphere. It takes almost 30 Earth years for Saturn to orbit the Sun. Saturn rotates in about 11 Earth hours. So here's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and that's the order that they are away from the Sun. And here's Saturn and its moon, one of its moons, Titan. Uranus. Uranus is the 7th planet from the Sun. It is about 1.8 billion miles, or 2.9 billion kilometers away. It is so far away that from its surface the Sun would look tiny. Uranus has 11 rings. Uranus is the 3rd biggest planet, about 1/3 the size of planet Jupiter. At least 27 moons orbit around it. Planets farther from the Sun have longer orbits. They take more time to travel around the sun. For Uranus to make one orbit takes about 84 Earth years. Uranus rotates in about 17 Earth hours. I think these vertical rings around Uranus are very interesting. Neptune. Neptune is the 8th farthest planet from the Sun. It is about 2.2 billion miles or 4.5 billion kilometers away. Neptune appears to be blue because of the gas called methane in its atmosphere. It is almost the same size as Uranus. One of Neptune's 13 moons, Triton, is about the same size as planet Earth's moon. The spacecraft Voyager 2 visited Neptune in 1989. One Neptune year is 165 Earth years. Neptune rotates in about 16 Earth hours. So it's the 8th planet: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And here's a close-up picture of Neptune and the planet, or the moon, Triton. And this is a picture of the Voyager 2 satellite. Pluto. After its discovery in 1930, Pluto was known as the 9th planet in our solar system. Now there are 8 planets. Because of its size and unusual orbit, it has been classified as a dwarf planet. Sometimes its orbit carries it closer to the Sun than Neptune. At its farthest, Pluto is about 4.6 billion miles or 7.4 billion kilometers from the Sun. Pluto is cold. It is smaller than Earth's moon. It has 3 known moons. The largest one is called Charon. 1 year on Pluto is about 248 Earth years long. A day on Pluto is about 6 Earth days long. So let's name all the planets one more time. Here's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the dwarf planet Pluto with its one of its moons, Charon. Here on Earth, astronomers search the skies through telescopes. Spacecraft are sent into the solar system and beyond in search of new discoveries. An astronomer is someone who studies the stars and planets. We are always learning about the planets, the stars, and what lies beyond. It is fun to search the night skies for planets and stars from our planet Earth. More about our planets. Mercury. Mercury, which is bigger than Earth's moon, has a core of iron. Venus. Venus rotates in the opposite direction of the other planets. Earth. From outer space, Earth often looks blue because of its vast oceans, which cover more than half the planet. Mars. Mars has a very large canyon. It is the biggest in the solar system. It is called the Valles Marineris and is 7 times longer than the Grand Canyon in the United States. Jupiter. Jupiter is huge. If Jupiter were a big empty ball, more than 1,000 Earths would fill it. Saturn. It is very windy on Saturn. Around its middle, winds blow at about 650 miles or 1,000 kilometers per hour. Uranus. When the spacecraft Voyager 2 flew past Uranus in 1986, it had been traveling through space for 9 years. Neptune. Neptune is 30 times Earth's distance from the Sun. Some astronomers have said that studying Neptune from Earth is like studying a dime from a mile or 1.6 kilometers away. Pluto. In 2015, the spacecraft New Horizons was the first to explore the dwarf planet Pluto and its moons. And that is the end of The Planets by Gail Gibbons. 4th edition. Our next poem is called Night is Here by Jack Prelutsky. Night is here, and night is there, and night is all around. I feel its presence everywhere, and yet it makes no sound. And so it's time to close my eyes and dream the night away until the sun lights up the skies and welcomes back the day, by Jack Prelutsky. Our final book today, boys and girls, is actually 2 stories in one book. It's called What the Sun Sees, and it's written and illustrated by Nancy Tafuri. And halfway through the book, I'm going to flip it over, and then I'll read What the Moon Sees. The great part about this book is you can follow along and read the words with me. I know you're going to enjoy What the Sun Sees and What the Moon Sees, written and illustrated by Nancy Tafuri. What the Sun Sees by Nancy Tafuri. What the Sun Sees by Nancy Tafuri, Greenwillow Books, New York. For Christina. The sun sees blue skies. The sun sees crowded barnyards. The sun sees sleeping owls. The sun sees bustling streets. The sun sees noisy playgrounds. The sun sees rolling meadows. The sun sees busy children. And the sun watches until the moon comes up. What the Moon Sees by Nancy Tafuri. What the Moon Sees by Nancy Tafuri, Greenwillow Books, New York. The moon sees bright stars. The moon sees quiet barnyards. The moon sees hooting owls. The moon sees empty streets. The moon sees silent playgrounds. The moon sees sleeping children. And the moon watches until the sun comes up. And that is the end of What the Sun Sees by Nancy Tafuri and What the Moon Sees by Nancy Tafuri. I've had so much fun being with you today, boys and girls, and I hope you've enjoyed all the stories and poems about our solar system, sun, and moon, and singing and signing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, you can do so. Just tap the word subscribe right there. And be sure and tap the bell to be notified of the latest videos with stories and poems from Reading with Mrs. Adams. And don't forget to comment. I'd love to hear how you enjoy the stories and the poems. Boys and girls, one truth I want to leave you with, and that is that God loves you very much. So dare to dream the impossible, because all things are possible with God. I love you. Until next time, goodbye.